Good evening and welcome to Lane 9. I'm your host, Ariana Kukers, and we are hanging out at our home for the entire U.S. Olympic trials. We're at the USA Swimming House at the Old Mattress Factory in Omaha, Nebraska. And tonight's episode is sponsored by Competition Lane Lines. They provided all of the lane lines for the pool, the Century Link Center, just down the street where all of the action is taking place. And that's where our Olympic team is starting to unfold. We have 3 people who made the team last night. We're going to add some more to that list tonight. And I've been wandering around the pool deck all day, all yesterday, and I'd like to share kind of a fun story. I'm in a weird position at this trials where it's my first trials that I haven't competed at in a while, and I'm trying to stay out of everybody's ways. I'm a little bit of a social butterfly, and so trying to stay in the backdrop a little bit. And I'm walking down in the warm-up area, and Missy Franklin is sitting about 20 feet away from me. And I look up and I see Missy just give me a Missy signature smile. My face lit up. I threw my hands up in the air and started screaming, "Missy!" and ran towards her. But I wanted to share that because that's what this event is all about. That's what the swimming community is all about, these relationships and these friendships. And we have an action-packed show for you tonight. Carolyn Joyce is here to recap all of the action in the pool. Gary Hall Jr. previews his segment. Also, the man with the best seat in the house. I'll explain that one later. And wait until you see who I found behind the blocks. Let's get started. Sitting here with Carolyn Joyce. Now, Kara, you were here on the pool deck here. We're not at the pool deck, but you were at the pool deck all night tonight. What's the atmosphere like over there on night 2?
Oh, it's just as exciting as night 1. Honestly, it is incredible over there. The first event tonight was the women's 100 butterfly, and honestly, it's hard not to get chills when all 14,000 people are up on their feet bringing these girls home. It was amazing.
Yeah, so the race went a little different than we expected, and I was able to see both swimmers yesterday, and I saw Dana beforehand, and this is Dana's first swim out of the gate. It's everybody's, and Dana ended up coming in second, and Kelsey Worrell placed first. So tell us a little bit about that. Break down the race.
So obviously, there are our 2 heavy favorites to qualify for this event, and very happy that they both made it in. Kelsey had a much stronger back half than Dana did. She brought it back over a second faster than anyone else in the field.
Wow.
And, it's her first Olympic team. It's Dana's third. I think it's a great pair to send over to Rio in that event.
Yeah, and I think so too. And Dana's somebody that I've spent many years rooming with on the national team scene. And I think that she is incredibly relieved to get that off her belt. I talked to her yesterday before prelims. She was a little bit nervous. And, I think coming into this, she had a great race, but Kelsey just swam lights out. And I think that those are going to be 2 that are really going to be strong contenders in Rio.
Yes, absolutely. And Kelsey is also the first ever U.S. Olympian for the University of Louisville.
Wow.
So I'm sure they're celebrating back there tonight.
Oh, that's so exciting. Okay, next up was the 100 breaststroke for men.
Yes, 100 breaststroke for men. We saw Kevin Cordes come in first, Cody Miller come in second. Pretty much what we predicted. I think that this is the ultimate victory for Kevin Cordes, having come in 3rd place at the Olympic trials 4 years ago. You really can't ask for more redemption than that.
Yeah. Okay, so the next one, we had the women's 400 freestyle, and we saw Katie Ledecky take this one away.
Yes, Katie Ledecky was under world record pace for about the first 350 meters of this race. Obviously an incredible swim, the number 1 time in the world this year, but I think almost more interesting is Leah Smith's 2nd place finish, the 2nd fastest swim in the world this year, and a time of 4 minutes flat. Now, just to put that in perspective, Janet Evans held the world record at 4:03 for 18 years.
Oh my gosh.
And we have Leah Smith at 4 minutes flat. Incredible swim by those 2 ladies.
Yeah.
Definitely poised to be on the podium.
Yeah, and even, so I was watching the 400 free, and I was watching Katie Ledecky take it out so fast. I mean, we saw the world record line, and it was at her feet. And I thought that was interesting, and I was wondering if that messed anyone up, because she was 2 seconds, because the world record is hers.
Right.
So she was 2 seconds, maybe even a little bit more ahead of that. And so I was wondering if they were maybe trying something different leading into Rio to see if what happened when she went out really fast, would she be able to come back home in that way? And so I'd be curious what her and her coach learned from that.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, I think that everyone in that heat knew that it was going to be a race for 2nd place.
Yeah. All right. So next up, we had some semifinals. So we had the men's 200 free go off.
Yes, men's 200 free. A lot of the favorites that we had in mind, Connor Dwyer, Ryan Lochte has this final spot. And the thing about the men's 200 free is typically the top 6 finishers will qualify for the Olympics.
And this is the field for the final right here.
Yes, this is our final field. One of my personal favorites that snuck in there is Tyler Clary. So Tyler Clary is the Olympic gold medalist from the London Olympics in the 200 backstroke, and didn't have his best 400 IM last night, and is coming back with a vengeance in this 200 free. So it'll be really cool to see Tyler get in on that relay.
Yeah, and I think it's important to note too, so the top 2 swimmers in every event will swim individually, and then usually if we fill a team of 52, 6 swimmers will get to go on. And so when you're looking at the 200 free, the motto across the board is if you get a lane, you get a chance.
Absolutely.
It's anyone's race tomorrow.
Absolutely. You're more than likely to qualify for the Olympics in that race than not, with the top 6 finishers typically making the Olympic team.
Yeah. Okay, so the next semifinal was the women's 100-meter breaststroke.
Yes, women's 100 breaststroke, also a really great event tonight. Our top finishers are Lily King and Molly Hannes heading into finals tomorrow. And the top 3 ladies all under that 107 mark, with Lily King being under 106. But that's going to be an amazing race, how it unfolds tomorrow night. I think those 3 ladies look incredible. They look very strong heading into finals.
Yeah, and Jessica Hardy broke into the top 4 there with the 106. I agree. I think that race is wide open in the sense of we have no idea who's going to take that one tomorrow. Okay, great. So next we had the 100 backstroke for men semifinal.
Yes.
What happened there?
Yes.
It looked fast.
This semifinal really did bring the audience to their feet tonight. We had David Plummer and Ryan Murphy. Well, actually, first Ryan Murphy post the fastest time in the world this year.
Wow.
And then David Plummer, not going to let that stand, came back and posted the fastest time in the world right after that. And honestly, these guys are flirting with that world record, and it might take a world record to make the Olympic team tomorrow night. That's going to be an incredible race.
Yeah, and I think the semifinals are kind of an interesting game because the ones who go first and second, the ones who are going second are seeing what they're posting and kind of adjusting accordingly. And the one who goes first, the first place in each one, they're setting the tone, they're setting the pace for those. And so we have the 100 backstroke. Now, this one is a little bit different than we thought would go down, but as we kind of said, a lot of people have some lanes. What could happen here?
Yeah, so in this women's 100 backstroke, we see Olivia Smoliga with the lead, a great time for her, personal best by over half a second. Kathleen Baker from Cal in second, and then our 2 Olympic gold medalists in this event rounding out 7th and 8th place. So really, between all the talent in that field, that race could honestly go to anyone tomorrow night.
Well, and I think, with Missy Franklin and Natalie on the side, they have that open lane next to them.
You can't count those 2 out, not at all.
Have you ever swam in a big race like this when you've been the outside smoke?
Oh, yeah. There's something to be said for those outside lanes, so that's going to be a really great heat to watch tomorrow.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think, it'll be interesting to see how the rest of the field plays off, knowing that on either side of them, you have Natalie Coughlin on one side and Missy Franklin on the other.
Yep.
So it's anybody's race tomorrow, so we'll be sure to tune into that.
Yeah.
So speaking of swimming, we're going to head now to the U.S. Olympic women's coach, David Marsh. He's the coach of SwimMac, and we asked him, what is a female athlete that when she's swimming, you have to drop everything and watch? Let's find out who it is. Thank you.
The one swimmer that stops me in my tracks whenever she's swimming is Dana Vollmer. When I can watch her butterfly, just watch how she swims butterfly, the fluidity she carries through the water, the grace she has in her stroke. Literally, I'll never miss a stroke of that. In fact, there's some videos of her online that I'm going to practice, and my daughter swims butterfly as her best stroke, and I have her watch that. Just watch the beauty of this. And I think in about 3 strokes you can see how gorgeous our stroke can be, and Dana does the best job of it.
All right, now I'm joined by Gary Hall Jr. Now, Gary, I had the pleasure, my very first national team trip, you were on it. And you have such an amazing place in swimming history and the legacy that you've been able to leave. But the last couple days, you've been carrying around a kiddie pool, and no one has thought anything of it. We're just all looking like, oh yeah, it's just another day at the office for Gary, carrying around a little kiddie pool.
Yeah, it's not a Mirtha pool, which I would have preferred. That's the fast swimming pool.
We would be impressed if you could carry that around.
Yeah, that takes a shipping container or 2, I'm afraid. But this is a kiddie pool that I was conducting some interviews in.
Were you?
And sitting down with some old friends and some new friends, and talking about silly things.
Yep. Yeah, so the segment is called Deep Thoughts in a Shallow Pool.
Or shallow thoughts in a deep pool.
Ooh. Are you going to have me on there at some point?
I don't know. I kept getting the name wrong. Whatever it was, I kept getting it wrong.
I know. I did too, so it's okay. Okay, so you're a veteran around here. You've been to many Olympic trials. First of all, can you remember your first Olympic trials? What was that like?
There were 200 participants in the 1996 trials.
No way. Okay, there's 1,737 at this Olympic trials.
So much smaller. It's been incredible to see the event grow over the years, and the accommodation to each of the participants. It hasn't been compromised at all in that process, in that growth.
Yeah, that's really cool. So what's it like to be back now, obviously just watching and taking it all in? Do you still get nervous? Do you wish you could jump in and smell like chlorine for a little while?
I had a chance to walk down onto the pool deck, and it wasn't until I got behind the blocks that sense memory came back, and I started shaking out my arms, and it just got those jitters.
It's the arm shake that always comes back.
And so that was fun to kind of revisit that way. But this is such a unique event, and USA Swimming has done such an outstanding job of putting it on, and you can see that experience in each of the participants. And I love cheering on not just the winners, but those that are out there giving it their best.
Yeah, so you have 2 kids, a 10-year-old daughter and an 8-year-old son. What's that like? Are they dabbling in swimming? Are they trying other sports?
Trying to expose them to a lot of different activities right now, and in the summertime we sign up for the swim team. I think they've made about 8 practices this season, which is about 3 more than last season. So we're improving. It's a gradual build.
We're on our way up there. Okay, so I saw you today, and you were taking some videos for fans and still signing autographs and all that. What's it like to be, so far retired from swimming and really still be such an important part of this community?
Yeah, you know what? There was like kind of a persona that was created around swimming for me, one that I had a lot of fun with through the years, and it's really fun to come back to the pool and get to be kind of that something of a jackass character that I was as a competitor, and I do have a lot of fun with it, and we're joking around a lot in the piece that I do called Shallow Thoughts in the Deep End.
All right. Well, we are going to look forward to that piece. And like I said earlier, you guys cannot believe how busy I've been today. So check out who I found behind the blocks. Look who I found.
Hello.
Hi, Beisel. So we were just talking about your mom, who I saw right before the 400 IM last night. She was shaking like a leaf, and of course you could hear her from miles away. But I mean, she has been at literally every swim meet that I've ever been at with you. What is her support like?
It's awesome. And it's such a different dynamic from what my dad and my brother bring, because my dad and my brother are watching trials, at a bar, drinking beer, and they don't really want to be here. But then Joni is here for me, and it's so awesome. She loves the sport of swimming. She's not officiating at this meet, but she showed up to the officials meeting yesterday.
She showed up to do what?
I don't know. But, that's how much love she has for the sport, and she's not only supporting me but everybody else that she loves on the national team and everybody on the Olympic team. So it's awesome to have her here.
Yeah. So I see her yesterday, and I think I need to reintroduce myself. Like, hi, I'm Ari, and she goes, Ariana Cougars.
No. She knows literally. She's a swim nerd. She is like the one. She knows everybody and everything, and she's friends with everybody. We were sitting in the lobby of our hotel. And I'm like, I'm Elizabeth Beisel. People must know who I am. No, people walk up and they're like, they see me and then they're like, Joni! I'm like, hey, thanks. Yeah. No, but she's awesome. Such a good heart, so much energy. So yeah, she's good to have around.
Yeah. Okay, so you made the team, 400 IM. It's your 3rd Olympic team. We've been doing this from the very beginning. Our first national team, I think we traveled together. What does it mean for you to have that swim under your belt?
It means so much. A lot of pressure is now off my back. I can sort of just relax and enjoy the rest of the meet, and it's the best feeling ever. It's really awesome to make an Olympic team, and for me to say it's my 3rd is even cooler.
So you're one of those people that people just go to. They love your energy, they love your light. I was one of those people who just flocked to you, and one of my favorite memories from 2012 trials was after I made the Olympic team. The look of joy on your face is something that I'll never forget just what that meant for me and being able to hug you. You were the first person I hugged right after, and I just wanted to just squeeze you. And what do those friendships mean? I know, we're watching Schmitty coming up here. Like, what do those friendships mean? Because they say you forget the medals, you remember the atmosphere.
Yeah, 100%. Yesterday, I swear I would not have made the team without Allison Schmidt and Laura Sogar. I'm not kidding, they were by my side the entire day. I was a nervous wreck, and so, to know that I have people like that and people like you to lean on, especially in a time where you're under the most amount of pressure you'll ever be in your life. You'll never feel like that again. And to know that they're going to be with me, not only in the swimming world, but, post-swimming world. Here you are, and we're still best friends. And, we don't need to see each other every day. And it really is all about the friendships. The medals are great, but friendships last forever.
Yeah, so true. Okay, so what are we looking forward to as the week is going on? What else do we have?
So in the Turner Free and Turner IM tomorrow, literally don't know which one I'm doing.
We'll find out.
Definitely not both. I will say that. I'm getting old. And then the Turner Backstroke on Thursday. So just a couple more events and just trying to take it all in, honestly. It's probably going to be my last trial, so I want to enjoy it. Yeah.
Well, I'm so proud of you. I love you so much. I think we're all such huge fans, so thank you for coming and saying hi. We're going to snag her on the show hopefully at some point later this week. I'll steal you when you're all done. Yeah, she was trying on my ring earlier.
It looked great on me.
Okay, good luck the rest of the meet.
Thank you, Ari.
It was so good to see her and catch up today, and she really was trying on my ring, and we were laughing and giggling, and I've had such a blast with her over the years. And if you look behind us, you can see even more. We've added a couple names to this list. So we added Kelsey Worrell, we added Katie Ledecky, and Kevin Cortez. So we will continue to look at that as the week goes on. Next up, we did this segment yesterday. We have another version of my segment, I guess you can call Omaha. They've got some crazy laws here in Nebraska. Did you know a man is not allowed to run around with a shaved chest in the state of Nebraska? Law enforcement has their hands full here at the Olympic trials because I'm pretty sure almost every man here has shaved their chest for this competition. We'll be learning more about Omaha all week, so be sure to stick around. Can't wait to see what else we have for that segment. And next we have Carolyn Joyce again. Now normally the area that she went into is reserved for athletes only. You can't really get back there. You don't know what's going on. It's kind of the athletes' space to just be themselves and be able to have a quiet moment away from everything. But Carolyn Joyce got in there and showed us what it was all about. So let's take a look at that.
Follow me. Let's get a behind the scenes look at where the athletes are going to be hanging out all week. Our first stop is the athlete lounge area. Come on in. This is a great place for the athletes to come before and after their races. You can grab a drink, have some snacks. There's ping pong, some little desks, TVs. It's kind of like a living room here at the pool. So if you want to know where all the athletes are going to be hanging out, resting up, trying to get their minds off their races, it's going to be right here. Next up is my favorite room, the massage area. So come on in here. During the meet, you're gonna see this place flooded with athletes. Before and after every race, you'll see athletes getting a rub down, getting stretched. It's a great form of recovery and my personal favorite room in this whole building. And since we're here, I'll be back in 30. So here's our warm-up, warm-down pool, and during the meet, this is going to be flooded with athletes before and after all of their events. So what's great about this is we have 8 lanes of 50 meters, and then in the far end, we actually have a 25-meter pool, so you can get any kind of training that you want. A great thing about being in the warm-up, warm-down area is this massive scoreboard, so you don't miss any of the action that's going on right on the other side of that wall. So with an 8-lane 50-meter pool and a 6-lane 25-yard pool, my favorite way to warm up still is right here in these hot tubs. You'll see a lot of sprinters getting in here before they get into the warm-up pool to make sure that they stay really warm before all of their races. So while the warm-up pool is pretty cool, one place people don't really get a chance to see is the ready room. After you get warmed up here, you dry off, throw on your sweats, and you head that way. Come on, follow me. So our final stage before going out to swim is here in the ready room. And in prelims, this room is packed with 5 heats at a time that will march out and go swim. But in finals, it's just you and the 7 other people in your event. You can sit in here for up to 5 to 10 minutes before it's your time to head out. And it's definitely a time to get your game face on. You get all different types of personalities in the ready room. You get the rookie that's never been to this meet before and is super starstruck by all the lights and all the people outside. You get the veterans that like to stay calm and relaxed. You get people that are listening to music on their own, but it's really the place to get your game face on, get into your own head, and prepare for your swim. And just to make sure you're not missing any of the fun that's going on out in the pool, the Ready Room has a TV for you that's streaming all of the events, all of the heats going on before you so that you can stay up to date, cheer for your teammates, and see what's happening in your events. And when it's finally your chance to swim, an official's gonna come down, call your heat, and you walk up this last flight of stairs to the pool deck. Here we go.
Even just seeing her walking up those steps to the pool deck like completely gets me back in the zone. So I'm joined by Chris Hindmark Watson. Now you might recognize his voice, but maybe not his face. I've actually known Chris since I was 12 years old. He's an announcer. He announced last night's finals and you're here all week. I'm trying to learn a little bit from you. I was on your show today. You have a million things going on at once, but we met 14 years ago.
It's a long time ago.
Yeah, it's a long time ago. So
doesn't seem like that long though.
No, it doesn't. So Chris is the voice. He's the one that's echoing out to 15,000 people that are in the stands. I want to know what that experience is like for you. Are you totally locked into the zone? Are you watching the races, or is it just sensory overload? You have a lot going on.
It's pretty fun. I mean, I've been doing this now with USA Swimming for 10 years. My first meet with them was back in 2006 at Purdue University, actually, for a US Open in December. And it's just fun. Like, the athletes really provide a great atmosphere for us to be able to encourage the fans and sort of talk about the races. And you know, I guess we are locked in on what we're doing and we're trying to follow along with stats and times and splits and everything else, but it's a fun environment. And the 2 other announcers that I work with, Sam Kendricks and Michael Porapat, you know, we work really well together, and we've done this now this is our 3rd trials of all 3 of us working together. So
yeah, that's really cool. It seems like just being up there in the box with you that you have this group. Has there ever been anything crazy that's happened during a live show or when you were on that maybe knocked you off?
I mean, there's always stuff going on. There's always so much going on that, you know, the meet here is so great because there's so many other people around that are helping out with getting the awards presenter sheets written out on who's winning, who's presenting, and everything else. And sometimes you scramble for that, but it always seems to come together. Back in 2006 at Pan Pacific Championships, when I was the announcer, the director of hosting, the site manager, head of security, and a couple other things on the schedule for that.
Yeah. Just a couple other. Did you need anything else added to that list?
A couple other duties that was pretty busy for that meet in Victoria, but it was a lot of fun to do.
Yeah.
We had a swimmer win, and because it was an international competition, we were doing national anthems.
Yeah.
And at that meet, we didn't have producers, we didn't have, you know, a number of other people. I was handling the music and everything else. We had a swimmer win who actually went on to win a gold medal in Park Taewon from Korea. And we hadn't prepped a Korean anthem.
Oh my
And so I think I had 2 100-meter races in order to find a Korean anthem and then hope that it was the right one.
Yeah.
And so we sort of all sat there and we looked at it and we pressed play and we watched him, and we figured based on his reaction we'd be able to decide whether it was the right anthem or not. And luckily we found the right anthem and played it. So.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so what happens when you have swimmers, because you've done this all over the world, what happens when you have names that are difficult to pronounce? I know my name's a little bit difficult to pronounce sometimes, but are you prepping that beforehand? Have you ever completely messed up somebody's name?
I mean, I've obviously messed up some people's names, and I always refer to it as just butchering people's names, but you know, we do some work behind the scenes on making sure that we try and get them right. And especially for an event like this, when someone's in a semifinal or a final, it's really important to make sure that we do everything we can to get their name correct, because you know, their mom's listening, their grandma's listening.
Yeah.
There's a lot of family that have put a lot of effort into this event, and so we want to make sure that we make their experience as enjoyable as possible. But we just do a little behind the scenes work, and you know, for the international events, I actually go back, I watch a lot of ice hockey, a lot of NHL, and for that I think that I have a little bit of a heads up when it comes to some of those Scandinavian names from Sweden or Finland and Russia and stuff like that. So yeah, we do do a lot of work on prepping those names.
So what about when you're going into a race and you have somebody, cough, cough me, who you really want to, and maybe are rooting for? And I know for me, I've been hearing your voice for so long that it's so comforting to me. And when I hear that Chris is announcing, it feels like home, and it feels like a back home meet no matter where I am. And I know that I'm not the only one who thinks that. So what's it like when maybe you're rooting for somebody who's in the water?
Well, it's hard at times. I mean,
Yeah.
I think I'm pretty good at being very impartial and very neutral when I'm calling races, but
Yeah.
there are people that I've gained relationships with over the years, yourself when you were swimming.
Yeah.
Obviously, being from Canada, I have a soft spot for all the Canadian swimmers that compete internationally.
Yeah.
But it is important to maintain that neutrality, and there might be a little bit of an emphasis when you're introducing them, but it is very important to be neutral and not really show any bias as you go through the motions.
Yeah, and I think that you do a really good job of that. I like that, and I have so much respect for all the work that you do. Now, I know that some people, Celine Dion, maybe some singers or artists in some way, will rest their voice before, a big event like this. What are you doing? Are you not talking for a week? Are you having flashcards, or do you just walk into this and run the show?
Well, I'm obviously not talking for a week because I'm here tonight with you, but I don't really have anything special that I do. I just like to come on and talk and get the crowd into it and behind the swimmers, and it's not something that I prep for or I do lozenges or anything like that. Sometimes after an event, if it's been a long session, a couple halls, sort of help sort of soothe the throat for the next day, but there's nothing that I do on a regular basis that I would say would sort of be a routine.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Chris. I cannot wait to hear you announce the rest of the week, and I know for me, it's just really brings a soft spot back to my heart to see you on the pool deck. So thank you for that. Thank you for joining us. And now we are going to head back to the pool deck, where I was able to snag one other person behind the blocks. Look who I found, Chase Kalisz. You punched your ticket to Rio last night. You're someone that I have just admired in such a big way. What did that race feel like, being able to do that?
It feels awesome. It's everything's coming together from it's a 4-year process, and even longer than that. This has been the one thing that I wanted to do my entire life. So be able to get that one out of the way first and relax a little bit and focus on the games and my other events for this trials. It feels I have a lot of weight off my shoulders now.
You have so many people who are rooting you on. I mean, you had the stands were just going crazy. You have some amazing teammates. What is that like to have these people want to see you succeed in such a big way?
Oh, I'm so lucky. And to have Michael and Allison and have them all by my side for since 2009 when I started training with them. They've been awesome to me, and those guys are like a family for me. And those were the first two people I saw when I came out. Michael, I don't know how he found his way on the pool deck. He pulled some strings, but he was standing right there and he had his arms up, so that was awesome. That was one of the coolest things ever.
Yeah, so what is this crowd like? I mean, there's 14,000 people that are filling the stands. You touch the wall and the crowd erupts. What does that feel like for you?
I mean, you can hear it. You can hear the crowd every stroke you take, and especially when things are changing up. Like when I saw Jay was coming along, and I knew you got to have a lead on that guy. If I don't have a body length or so on Jay, he's going to catch me. So, and I saw Jay was kind of creeping up. I could hear the crowd get into it. And when I started building my breaststroke, every stroke I took, I could hear the crowd too. So the crowd's awesome here, and it's unbelievable. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, so I know that there's a lot of things you have to do after you make the Olympic team, but you just told me you're the most excited about finding your family. What was that like to see them and hug them when you were done?
Well, I tried to walk the other way after the medal ceremony, and they didn't let me. And someone in USA Swimming, I won't throw them under the bus, helped me sneak back out on the pool deck, and I just ran across to go see them all. So that was awesome. That was one of the coolest things too. I wanted to make a point of finding them right after.
Cool. Well, Chase, I'm so happy for you. I cannot wait to see how you do in Rio. Thanks for letting me snag you for a couple minutes.
Thank you very much.
It was so good to catch up with Chase. Luckily, we caught him on the pool deck, and there are so many people who were rooting for him, and I think that's great. So we have been asking you to engage with us on social media, and we have had some people tweet back at us using hashtag Lane9. So we'll do some social media and hometown shout-outs now. We have Tim, who's watching from England. Hi, Tim. Steven from Pennsylvania. Fernando from Rome, Italy. I actually just got back from Italy 2 weeks ago, so I am very envious of all of that. We have Corey from Orange County and Melody from Seattle, which is my hometown. So thank you guys for watching. You can engage with us using hashtag Lane9. We can't wait to see all the things that you guys have going on today. So Chase just mentioned Phelps, and I think it's important to note that we haven't seen Phelps in the water yet. We haven't seen him swim, and he's been around the pool deck, and he's been cheering everybody on and kind of taking in the sights and sounds and all of that. But we have yet to see him race, and we're going to see him in the 200 butterfly tomorrow. Here we can see him walking over before finals. He's signing some autographs. That's inside the CenturyLink Center, and we can't wait to see how things kick off for him tomorrow morning in the 200 butterfly. So that's all that we have out of Lane 9 tonight. But all week long, we invite you to join the conversation by tweeting at us using #Lane9. Share your questions, who you are cheering on, and where you're watching from for us to share live on the show. For all the latest video, news, and photos, visit us at usaswimming.org. That's it for tonight. Same time, same place. We'll see you then.